This is gonna be great. Look at this. Look at. Oh, that's LAPD. I was hoping. Oh, that's LAPD too. I thought it was gonna be the Glendale. Look at. But anyways, that's MAGA. All MAGA cops know that what I say is kill MAGA and start with the MAGA cops. So every time, if you ever see a video of me and I film any cop, you gotta understand, we have a relationship, okay? I have defeated the cops. The last 2 times they arrested me, 2015 and 2017, they prosecuted me and they tried to put me in prison using my record, because I have a felony record with a strike. And they tried to use their position as a leverage in a court case. Like, hey, they got a special prosecutor, they got a librarian, and they had this team, okay? And they thought, we got this fucking individual, okay? So they didn't book me for, like, the LAPD threw me in a cell. They didn't throw me in a cell. Actually, well, let's just say, they didn't hurt me in the arrest process. They restrained me and they did shit like that, but they didn't do anything what would consider brutality. But once they put me in jail, what do you consider brutality? They, according to the Supreme Court, they extended you can't keep somebody in jail longer than 24 hours to 72 hours under Obama, okay, under his National Defense Authorization Act. And then the Supreme Court upheld it. So then, so this was in 17, so October. September, it had to be September, because the swimming pool was still open. I was going to the public pool, I was on a computer in the library when like 12 cops came in. No, 6 cops came in, and then they told me I have to leave the library because the librarian didn't want me there. And I was like, you can't, you have to give me a court order. This is a public place. You have to press some charges or something formal's got to do. No, this is secure. This is a letter from the library staff. I was like, yeah, this is a public facility. So we got into a scuffle. They arrested me. There wasn't like a fight. I didn't fight back, but I didn't submit. So I was very, very strong. I was homeless at the time, but all I did was always exercise and eat healthy. I didn't do drugs. I only smoked weed once in a while, whenever I can get a hold of it. And I would buy 8 at a time. So, and I would make it last by just doing I had my little cigarette, little Papa cigarettes. That's the way I smoke my weed in order to extend it as long as possible. We just take a little poke of it and you pack it down and then you take that one little hit. So, they arrest me, they send me into jail, 6 days, no booking, okay? No wristband, no booking, no communication, incommunicado, okay? So that could be technically considered a human rights violation on an international scale. It should have been considered a violation of civil rights on a national scale and a municipal scale. But the catch is, they were already MAGA, but this is pre-MAGA. Oh no, this is MAGA. MAGA's already here. MAGA's already in the scene, 2017. So, but MAGA wasn't there when I first got arrested in September 2015, okay? Just by chance. I think it was September 4th and something like September 9th or 10th. But 15 and 17. So then when it comes to the day of to go to court, 6 days later, they come up to me, they're like, okay, come out of your cell. I'm like, nah, until you give me a booking number and a phone call, I'm not coming out. And an isolation cell in the back of the hallway by myself. And they cleaned out the hallway because first they had 2 people next to me, and I got I got a black guy out of jail who was screaming, I'm not fucking black, I'm Apache, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then they sent a black lady to back to him, and she walked to his cell, and he's like, what the fuck did they send you for? I told you I'm not black. And I jumped on it. I said, yeah, they send a fucking nigger bitch because they know that stupid bitches do anything like a fucking nigger to get approval of those pieces of shit. And then because the Indian guy was black skinned, he looked black, that was a thing. So, and I know outside of this world he identifies as black, but for that particular moment, he stopped and was like, I'm not black. And they ended up letting him go because they had kept him for 4 days. And they said he was going to send him to court. He's like, you can't send me to court. I'm not a fucking American. I'm an Apache. So then they're like, yeah, laughing at him because you're just a black guy saying stupid shit. So, whoa, what the fuck is that? So anyways, he got out, and then they let him out after I did that one because that black lady fucking was terrified. Okay, she was coming down there like this at first because I saw her, and when she got to this door, and then when I did that, she was like not happy. So Then they come to my cell, and I'm like, okay, no, I'm not coming out. They're like, all right. So they bring a tactical team. The tactical team is 4-man team. They all have tasers. They don't have mace. I thought they had mace, so I was getting ready for mace, but I didn't realize they don't use mace because then it'll hurt them too. So what I do is I wet the floor and I put wet blankets, the blankets and the sheets that I have, I wet them and I put them on the floor just for some kind of potential slip and slide. That will give me some kind of, I don't have an advantage, but if I could take away any advantage that they have, that gives me at least some equilibrium and takes away their equilibrium. So when they're at the door, the guy that has a shield in the front, he's got to hold the shield with both hands. The way that they train them is you never let go of the shield. And then they have the guy behind him, he's holding onto the waist of the guy with the shield. And they tell him, your job is to always push forward. The 2 guys behind you are for doing the shit. You never let go of your man. If you let go of him, that's a penalty, okay? So they're at the door, ready. So the sergeant, he's a little Hispanic guy. There's a fat guy standing in the corner with a camera, underneath the camera, okay? But he's got a handheld camera. Then there's the sergeant standing with his key at the door. So he puts the key in the door, and I'm like, go ahead, open it. And I kick the door, bam, like I'm trying to kick it when, when you open it. So, but I know because I've seen a lot of movies or not movies, but videos where cops, they like when people do that because they're like little kids. When you understand they're juveniles, then you understand how to address them. So I kicked it twice, and I'm like, come on, motherfucker, open the door. Let me see, open the door. And I went to do it the second time, and then he opened the door, but I didn't do it. So then he already initiated the whole process of the incursion. So they come in, and so when I'm at the door too, I'm like, before I start doing that, before he puts the key in the door, even actually. So the guys are right there at the door, and the guy in the front, he's like this, because the window's right here. It's a wall with a window, 4 windows, and then the door, or 2 windows. 2 windows? One window each? No, I think it's 4 windows. Yeah, 2 windows, 2 window panes each side, and then the door for observation. So he's standing, there's the window by the door. So when the guy opens it from the other side, they can come right in, and the shield blocks me from getting out. So he's standing right there. But the catch is, that's the seam of the door. So I go right there, and I'm like, he's like, focus, holding the shield, focus. And I'm like, don't worry, man, you guys got the advantage, man. What can I do to you guys? Look at, you got all your friends right there. Trust me, you're gonna do okay. You're gonna make it. And he's like, and then when they finally let him in, I'm wrestling with the shield guy. And what I do is I am able to twist the shield, okay? Because they're limited, it's a small individual cell. So the 2 guys can't even get in the fucking cell initially because they can't do the push forward enough to get into the cell. So they're like a dragon tail stuck in the doorway. And I'm able to, at that point, turn the shield so that going this direction is the bathroom. It's not a bathroom, but it's just a toilet right there in the sink. But that is in a corner where the bed, also the head of one of the foot or the head of the bed, one of the end of the bed. So it's like a little cubby. So the bed is right here, and then there's a wall right here, and then there's a little sink right here, and then there's a corner right here. So I'm able to turn the shield and twist it so that they are now, if they come in, they are in that area. That scares them from entering, okay? Which gives me a couple extra seconds to wrestle with the 2 front guys, which, again, they're not there to wrestle, they're there to penetrate. So when I'm wrestling with the shield and I'm able to twist that motherfucking shit in that guy's hands and turn him and his buddy behind him into basically a V shape, I'm low because I'm using all my leverage to do that movement. I'm not doing high, so I'm coming low. And as I do that movement, he twists around. I have both hands on the shield, and then all of a sudden, the guy behind him, his taser on his belt inside of his sheath, a leather sheath, cross leather sheath, like a braided sheath, leather, is on his belt right in front of my face. And I'm like, what the fuck? I let go of the shield and I grab it and I rip it off of his fucking belt, the sheath and everything. I don't know how the clips go on, but I ripped that shit off of his fucking belt. And then they start screaming, he's got the taser, he's got the taser. So they're screaming, and then the other 2 guys, they can't fucking delay anymore. And at this point, I'm able to do some kind of crazy spin motion where now the shield is gone a full circle and he's out of the way over here, he's pressed up against the bed. The guy behind him is running into the bed, and now the 2 guys think that they have access to me. The fucking taser gets ripped out of my hand by these guys struggling, gets thrown into the corner that I just described. It lands in the corner, still in the sheath. These guys with the shield are now blocked by the shield behind the corner in which I started the whole thing, okay? I jump for the fucking shield. I jump for the fucking, I dive for the fucking taser. And I was gonna use, but the fucking, I didn't, at this particular time, I didn't know that the sheath was on it. I just saw the taser's handle and I thought, oh fuck, I could shoot one of these fools in the fucking face and hopefully kill him. So I dive for the fucking taser. He's going for the taser. And these two guys with the shield, they can't do anything. So the two guys that are coming in, one of them jumps on my back and he takes out his taser, and they call it a dry taser, where he puts it right on my back. And he goes, ka-pa-ka, and he shoots one. He's like, stop moving, stop moving. And then the guy that was behind the shield guy that lost the taser, he dives under the fucking bottom bunk, and he's scurrying like a fucking army guy trying to beat me to the fucking taser. And I'm looking right there, and I'm like, I'm gonna shoot him in the fucking face with the taser. But I reach the taser with one hand while this guy is doing his taser thing on my back, because he's using the taser, he's relying on the taser to subdue me, and he's not doing a submission. Little does he know that just by a fluke, okay? So just by a fluke, one of the things that I had you want to call it a fetish or an obsession for, was I went to a garage sale one time and somebody had a medical device like Bruce Lee used to use for that shocking thing. They used it for his muscles, and they had selling it for $5 brand new. And I'm like figuring that somebody old died and they never use it. And you're like, yeah, I don't know what to do with it. I got hooked on that shit, and I used to put the 4 patches on one muscle group at a time and turn that shit up, and I'd be like on the computer in my house, and be like, wow, this is fucking cool, and then put all 4 on my fucking stomach, put all 4 on my fucking thigh, put all 4 on my calf. So when he starts to taser me, this is the only way I could describe it is, I'm like, oh shit, he's tasering me, because I hear the clack, 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 and I'm like, clack, 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 and at the third one, I'm like, wait, that doesn't hurt. So I can use my free heart, because this guy's under the bed, right? So I have my arm to defend him back. But I'm like, if I can, this guy's not going to do anything because he's relying on the taser. He thinks it's going to work. He's still pulling the trigger like, taka, 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 taka. So this was, again, the third time was the time I realized I have free range of movement. I'm looking, then I realized that it's in the sheath. And I'm like, fuck, if I grab it, I can't grab it with one hand and shoot it. I need both hands because I got to grab it, take it out of the sheath. So I bring my other hand over, so now I'm using both hands to go for the taser. The guy under the bed, that motherfucker was terrified, okay? The guy on my back, I don't know, I couldn't see his face, but that fool tasered me 7 to 10 times. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. At over 3 times is considered deadly force, okay? Just food for thought. No, I'm sorry. Over 3 times is excessive, over 5 is deadly. So, which is fine, because, I mean, under the circumstances, you know, we're all trying to kill each other, I guess. So, but anyways, when we go to court, these fools think, what do you think they think? Okay? They think, oh, this guy is arrested for this charge, which was a false charge anyways. They said, they bolstered it. They try to say that I verbally assaulted, berated a mother with her 2-year-old and her 2-year-old boy and a 4-year-old little girl inside the library in the kids section. That I walked in there and I started screaming at her and berating her, and that she was terrified and her kids scared for her kids. Okay, and that was from a Jewish librarian. So the catch is, the lady didn't lie for them. They were like, this is a really bad guy. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't there, obviously, but I know they had to tell her, this is a really bad guy. You should really do this, okay? You should really follow through with this and help us out. And the lady was like, I'm not going to lie. So they had to, the case fell apart. And the catch is, they tried to fake that the case didn't fall apart because they realized that I was going to use the fact that the first case fell apart in my defense in my second case, which they refiled. They didn't know that I knew that they refiled the second case because they did it in a way that kept me in the same court, kept me with the same public defender, Casey Kovacs, who sold me out, okay? Complete fraud, okay? Bar Association, but the Bar Association is a British accreditation registry. So they're there to fuck over American civilian society. So Casey Kovacs, who's a Hungarian last name, American-Hungarian, probably Jewish origins, because the Jews have a big role in Hungary. He sold me out to the prosecution, and he was telling them my whole plan. So when they realized that my plan was way far more advanced than their plan, and that I was using everything that they thought they were covering up in my plan, they got scared fucking shitless. And the judge, Shelley Samuels, a Jew, told Todd Gilman, the special prosecutor who took the case from a prosecutor that has a deformed arm, okay? The first prosecutor was a white boy that has a deformed arm. When he couldn't get the Hispanic mother to fucking lie for him, Todd Gilman, the Jew, said, I'll take over the case. He got rid of the Hispanic woman. He told the Jewish librarian, I need you to say that you were the victim and that you were scared for your life. That's all I need you to say. So she said, okay. So she became the new person on the victim list and the new court case. So when we show up to court, and I'm like, okay, what's the Hispanic lady's name? When is she coming in? And Casey's like, oh, she's not in this case. I was like, what do you mean? She's the victim. He's like, no, this is the librarian is the victim. And I'm like, wait, no, this started with her, the victim. So how is the librarian the victim now? What is her name? And he's trying to tell me this. And so then when they call my docket number, I'm the second docket number, and the Judge Shelly Samuel goes, okay, counsel, can I see you in my chambers? I don't ever look, I don't ever flinch, I don't smile, I don't smirk, I don't grimace, I don't do anything. In court, you want to be gangster? Be gangster. Nothing. No tension in your face. That's court. That's your court face. Sir, you murdered 10,000 people. You fucking did whatever. I don't care if I'm giving you advice. You robbed this. You hurt this person. You're a bad person. This is a threat to society. Sir, do you have anything to say for yourself? And don't even do this. Don't even do that. Wait for the lawyer to fucking address you. When the lawyer addresses you, address the lawyer. Plain face. Don't show your cards. So they thought they had me hook, line, and sinker. And then they realized, oh my God, this fool's gonna subpoena the videos of the fucking booking. And then he's gonna subpoena evidence of the tactical team, because that's all on record, and the stealing. And they fucking suspended the fucking guy that lost his taser, and they were laughing at him in the office when they were taking me out, because they also took me to medical services for other reasons, because again, they tasered me a gang of times. But so I was still there for like another 3 or 4 hours before they took me out in a medical wheelchair under medical observation into the booking, into the court process right across the street at Van Nuys. This is at Van Nuys jail. So, but in the meantime, I was engaged in another activity that allowed me the opportunity to be 100% observational. And during that time, they looked upon me as though I was not capable of observing. So that made them feel emboldened to mess around like boys. And they were down the hallway at the office making fun of the guy. And then the guy came and told him that he was going to get suspended, and something about training. He has to go through extra training, and they were going to get like some kind of real serious penalty. Okay. So I was laughing at that shit. And then they give me the medical attention, and then they take me out. So when they realized that I was going to be able to get the original arrest records of the day that I was arrested, and then prove that I was, to a jury, not the judge, fuck the judge and the thing, prove to a jury that I wasn't booked for 6 days, and then show the video, because there's both the video, like I said, he's under a camera, there's an institutional video, but that doesn't have audio, but then the handheld camera that the fat guy had was also audio. So everything that was being said was also recorded. So when I was talking to that cop saying, hey, don't worry, whatever I said to him, that was there. When I kicked the door, that was there. When I went to kick, what I was saying, that was all on their tape. Now, you think most cops, they like to look at tapes to laugh. Ha ha, we got him. I bet you they don't look at my tape, because they understand that tape makes them feel stupid, look vulnerable, look weak, and look discombobulated. Because one guy fucking set the whole LAPD Van Nuys on fucking terrified mode. So terrified that when it came to the time for a jury to fucking hear the case, the judge told the prosecutor, I don't care what you do, this case better not leave my courtroom. You make him any deal you need to make. This case better not leave my courtroom. Kovacs came out. He said, wow, he told me, he conveyed that to me. I believed him. I took him at face value. I'm not saying that everything that he said was a lie, but he was giving information and my strategy to the enemy, which is a violation of confidentiality. Under the premise of he's trying to get a promotion or some shit like that. So because the prosecutor doesn't, public defender doesn't make any money. The prosecutor makes the money. So then within 15 minutes, Todd Gilman doesn't do it. He sends a, did Todd Gilman do it? No, the first one was a Persian lady from the prosecutor's office who came in with a fucking steroided out 6'4", 240 245 to 265 pound armed sheriff as a bailiff. When they were dropping, because they realized that that was in the 2015, that was all same thing. It fell apart. I got the same fucking deal. That's why Todd Gilman made that deal, because he looked at the records and said, well, last time he took a no plea deal, so maybe we'll give him a no plea deal. But it's not really called, it's called a non-prosecution agreement or something like that. But they called it a no plea deal because they didn't want it to be a non-prosecution. They didn't want to use that terminology for me. So they come at me and they say, look, you sign this paper. Oh, Kovacs came to me. Actually, it was just Kovacs. They just sent him to me from a waiting room with a window. And he's like, look, this is what they're going to do. They're going to give you this thing. You sign this paper. You don't have any police contact for a year. You come back in a year, and then they pay all the court fees. You don't admit to anything. And this entire thing fades away, which is all bullshit because they still keep records. So I'm like, you know what? I'd already been in jail. By the time this was up to that point, I'd already been in jail for 26 days in county jail. Okay? So then they let me out, and then they continued to keep me in court. So I was arrested in, like I said, September, 26 days. And then the court case still went on until like January 19th or something like that. And then around January 19th was when the whole thing, their case collapsed. And because I took it to a jury, they thought I was going to break down because of all the pressure. Oh, we're the cops, the library, all this thing that they thought was going to mount up. And I just saw... all I see is you guys are fragmenting one big lie, and I know the one big lie, and I know the heart of it, so I don't give a fuck, but I'm not going to get distracted. And they got scared because they realized I wasn't emotional. I was focused. In fact, one point, for over 5 hours at one point when the cops were fucking with me, and that like the second or third day, and I realized they were not going to let me go, or they were not going to let me out, they were not going to book me, I realized, oh, these fools think that they're torturing me. I sat on the top bunk, sat in the lotus position, faced out the window, put my hands together in the thing of appreciation, and I chanted for over 5 hours straight. Namyo horenge kyo, 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 namyo horenge kyo. And the cops were coming down the window because they have to do a count every 15 minutes because they put me in solitary confinement, kind of like a Jeffrey Epstein kind of thing. So they have to come do a magnet thing. And the cops, when they would do the magnet thing, they come over and they hit the window. Baba, you okay? You need help? And I just be sitting there. Namyo horenge kyo, namyo horenge kyo. No, again, no facial features, no facial anything. Just focus straight forward. Not look at them, not flinch or anything. Namyo horenge kyo. You all right? Are you concerned? Do you need medical attention? Are you having a mental breakdown? Namyo horenge kyo, namyo horenge kyo, namyo. Because they want to see it as fear. They're trying to project their fear onto me. And that fed my fucking chanting. That's not the way chanting is supposed to be used, but just so you know, it can be used that way, and it's a very effective tool against fascists. Fascists are terrified of it because it shows stability, sanity, and the ability to be inside yourself, which they can't do because they're always seeking external approval. So then another crazy thing, that's in 2019, come around to the end of 2019, I'm homeless, I'm sleeping at Griffith Park. The rangers find my campsite. They come up with four rangers. They come up the hill. They're at my campsite. They're like, okay, well, you can't camp here. You got to take this stuff down. I'm like, all right. So I get out of my hammock because I sleep in a hammock. That's how I stayed homeless. Homeless without a hammock, you're fucking stupid. That was the best fucking time of my life. Sleep in hammock anywhere I wanted. So, but I get up and I'm like, all right, fine, I'll go. And then he's like, grabs my wrist. Says, what the fuck you doing? He's like, we're going to search you. And we're going to put you in handcuffs so we can search you. I said, you can't fucking search me just for fucking sleeping in a fuck. And it was during the day too. But I did have a campsite. So I get that. That's fine for the rangers. So I pull my wrist away. And then the other guy tries to come around my hammock. And I realize they're going to try to get me. We're on a fucking slope in Griffith Park. And I can run 3 miles like a deer on my tippy toes. I only ran on my tippy toes because I didn't want to fuck up my knees. So I would run through Griffith Park on my tippy toes. Then I would go, and they hated me because they had a LAPD run team, okay? That would come like once a week. And it would be like 25 to maybe 40 fucking LAPD officers. They would meet at the ranger station. I would be working out at the fucking horse and the exercise area right across the way. They would take turns in doing team things. So it would take a long time, like hours, for them to finish their routine, whatever they're doing. I would work out at that area, but in a crazy way. I had these tie pads that are for striking. I would use my ropes that I have for my hammock. I would tie them onto the poles that were like this thick, like a fence pole that they used for the horses in Griffith Park. But there were no horses at this area, in this little range. And I would tie one on the top where a head would be, and I would tie one low where a thigh would be, actually where a knee would be. And then I would fucking go around and I would hit it with one hand and spin it so that I could move it, and then I would hit the fucking pad on the pole, and then I would kick it too. So accuracy was critical because missing meant hitting fucking metal. So I didn't miss, and I would work out like fucking a demon, listening to fucking the album, this is what I do when I saw them, because it put me in a mode where, again, not aggression, but pure fear for them. Ella Fitzgerald and the guy, and they sing this badass thing, album, Lewis. Yeah, you know I'm talking about, the guy that plays the thing. And but anyway, so and I would just listen to that thing on repeat, so that way I didn't get distracted and I didn't get out of myself, because I understand the calm in the storm terrifies them, and they hated me because I would work out their entire time. Okay, and again, they're doing teams, so they're running, 2 of them will run, and then the other fucking group will sit right fucking there waiting, and I would just be non-stop, non-fucking stop. Bam, 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 and then getting the rhythm, picking up. Boom, high kicks. I can't do high kicks because I don't do stretches anymore. But high kicks, booyah. I could do front high kicks, head kicks, booyah, okay? The pole, okay? Hitting the bottom of a, kicking it too with the chin on, because it's got to be shin. You can't use your foot. You don't want to fuck up your foot, and you don't want to make yourself train into using that. So I would be kicking the fucking pole that on the pad, hitting it, and the pole would go, and these cops had to fucking watch that shit. So when the Rangers finally found me, and then they chased me, I ran down the hill, and I ran like a deer, jumped like 4 jumps, and I was down the fucking slope. This fool's going like this, you know, and then so I'm jogging, I'm doing my little tippy toe thing, and I turn around, and that guy's like fucking, you look down there, that guy's like way past that light. He's like 3 distances past that light, okay? And the cop, the closest, the only one that could chase me. But then the other cops, they ran up the hill because they parked they had their truck, they parked up the hill. So they came down, so they were coming on their truck this way, and I'm doing my tippy toes. And then they have a drainage ditch that goes down. So they're on the road thinking they're gonna cut me off. I run to the ditch, and I just one little deer leap, whoop, I go over the ditch. So now the truck can't go there because it's just steep enough. So they figured they're gonna cut me off by going all the way down. When they commit to going all the way down, I cut over towards the freeway, because there's a bridge, there's a tunnel that goes under the freeway. So then that freaks them out. So then they start to readjust themselves to go towards that, to block that off. But then that clears the whole path that they were blocking the first way, back onto the main street, which is the entry, the streets that come into the park from Los Feliz. So I run up that, then I run up the hill, get on the streets, cross both of the streets, run up the next hill, find a layer, but this time I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta take a piss really bad. So I'm like, okay, is anybody around here? So I start taking a piss on my lane on my side, and then I while I'm laying on my side and I'm looking down to see where they're at, I can see a shadow because of the morning, and the guy is doing like this. So when I look up, he's looking away from me, and he's waving to his friends, and I see which way he's pointing, but he doesn't see that I see. So I figure, I could feed into them and think that they're gonna commit to cutting me off, because there's a guy still at the bottom of the hill. So I start walking in the way that he's pointing. That gets the other guys to get in their car and then drive around so they can come up the hill, because they think I'm trying to get away by going up the hill. As soon as I see them get in their car and get out of sight, and I see this guy start doing the same gesture because I'm using my peripheral, then I do the same thing down the slope and just down. It takes like 5 or 6 jumps, because this was a different slope. It was a lot more debris and plants and shit like that. So I have to maneuver through it, but I'm back on the street where the guys just left. I go exactly where the guys started to block me. I cross over, I go under the tunnel, I cross the tunnel, I come out on the wash. There's a bridge that they had made for horses. It's a big white bridge. At that time, it had a fence because one horse, they forgot to put traction. So one horse slipped, broke his leg, and they had to put it to sleep. So it was a big thing. So they had to barricade it back up before they fixed that and put dirt and shit like that, because they made steps for horses, okay? Steps, a stairway. So they ended up changing that to dirt steps. But so it had a fence, and the fence had that mesh over it, covering it. And it's a super simple fence. I mean, just for me, it's like my height. I'm over it like nothing. And all I have on is my shoes, my no shirt, and these motherfucking pants. So that's crazy. No, not these pants. They were green pants though. But then I cross the bridge. When I get on the other side of the bridge, now I'm basically in a part of Glendale. I'm walking along the trail, along the path, and I see all of them on the fucking road, the fire road that they were looking, and they're all looking down the hill. They're trying to point, and they're looking in the bushes, and I'm laughing, but I can't run because you don't want to get attention. So I walk into this park area, and then I go down and I hide in these washes. And then the rangers come, and when I'm hiding, there's three big pipes, three big concrete tubes, okay, huge, like freaking 15 feet wide. And then they have these big metal doors on the wash side. So if there's a lot of water flooding, the water will force the doors open, but otherwise they stay shut. But they're huge, and there's three of them. And one of them has a bunch of bushes halfway covering it, like dead branches that fell in there, because nobody goes in there. It's just like a little the pathway's right here, and then there's like a little slope, like only like a 3-foot slope, and then there's all this debris and dead branches, and then there's the tunnels. So the one that had the shrubbery on it, I'm like, okay, if I can get in there without moving that stuff, I can hide in there. So I use the ledge, the 3-foot ledge, and I do the deer kind of thing. I jump down, and I do, once my toe hits, I bring my other foot down, and I literally bounce myself over without trying to leap, but just throw myself over the bushes without putting footprints, as many footprints, a few footprints or marks as possible, and then without disturbing the branch that was blocking the thing. The truth of the matter is, I was thinking, I'm not even Muslim, but I was thinking about the story of Muhammad, and when he hid in the cave, and then Allah put a spider web, so when the people chasing him came, they said, no, there's a spider web here, he can't be in it. So I hid at the very end. There was a plastic bag, just a plastic bag. It was just a trash bag, clear plastic bag, but it wasn't clear, but it was a foggy white one, but it was an industrial one. So I ripped that into a blanket. Again, this is a big thing, so it's going like this, okay? So I lay in that part, because it's dry, because it's summer. It's fucking LA. So it's dry in there, so I lay in that little crevices, okay? And put that over me at the very end, right at the door, which is about 25 feet or maybe 30 feet away from, we'll say it had to be 20 yards. It had to be 20 yards length, okay? So when the, then I lay there and I stay all calm. And then all of a sudden I hear this crunching. And I'm like, okay, just breathe deep and relax even more and sink into this little crevice and let this thing. So then I hear, hey, there's a ranger. So the first tunnel, because that one's not blocked. There's a rangers, come out. And then he goes to the next tunnel. And I'm like, oh shit, he's scared to go in. So that means he's probably not gonna fucking move that stick either. So he goes to the next one. He's like, hey, there's the rangers, come out. And then he comes to my tunnel, and I can see the flashlight hitting the motherfucking, the bag. But it is covering me. And the catch is, I am completely relaxed in this crevice. He's like, there's the rangers, come out. And he doesn't even shake the branch. And then he leaves. And so they got a helicopter going. They got LAPD. They have over 30 LAPD looking for me. They don't even know what the fuck they're looking for. I'm sleeping in a hammock in a park, okay? So I get away. I come right here. Because I come out of here, I come to this area, this spot right here. Wait at the bus stop. I get on a bus. I get away from them. And then this is now December. I get in the LA Times because of this. By a chance, I meet a reporter. I tell the reporter my story, that I'm camping out and what they did, how they chased me. She thinks that she doesn't understand that it's a political motivation. She thinks it's homeless oppression, because they don't understand that I'm a MAGA't threat. So, but she was kind enough. I still have the sighting that she put me and Timothy Caffrey was boistered or something like that, bustled out of while camping at park by local rangers when they found him there. And just getting my name in put the LAPD on check. Then the pandemic hit, and then things changed, and our relationship changed. And then during the pandemic, I decided, hey, what are you going to do? You're going to be a whatever, or you're going to participate? Because whether you believe in the pandemic or not, people are suffering because they believe it. So if you want to do something, what are you going to do? Just be by yourself? I made a point to become a janitor in an ER during the pandemic. At that point, I was working alongside with Burbank PD, Glendale PD, and North Hollywood Division LAPD. And during the pandemic, some other police came from other areas because of the how things were busy. So, but while I did that, I shut all that down. And anytime I engaged with a cop, I did it like I was talking to an elder. I was always like, hey, sir, you need anything? They had a refrigerator, and the EMTs too. They had refrigerators for water. And I was the only person that ever filled those up to make sure that mostly for the EMTs, but also for the cops. I'm like, hey, if I'm going to play full part. So like one time the cops they brought in they weren't supposed to bring in trauma to our place because it was a non-trauma. It's a heart, stroke, and something else specialty. So, but they brought in a guy some cholo kid that was playing with his gun in his house and pulling it out of his pants, and he shot himself in the fucking growing area. But Glendale Medical was still far and it's still crowded, so they had to do one stop just to stop the bleeding. So they came in real quick. They cut off all of his clothes. They threw all of his clothes onto the floor. They left. I'm the janitor. We need that room. We needed that room anyways. This was an emergency stop, and that room was needed because it's a big room. So whatever that was for an important thing anyway. So as soon as they left, we needed that room right away. That was my job. So I go in there and I get the red bio bags because his clothes all have blood on them, and I put them all in the bio bags. I clean up the thing. I get the sheets and everything, and then I come out, and then the Burbank PD, that was LAPD because they came from Sun Valley. Then the Burbank PD, that was actually the Foothill Division. Then the Burbank PD officer, who I still remember, he looked at me. He's like, "Hey, are those his clothes?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, they cut them all off. I mean, they have all his blood on them." They're like, that's some evidence. You're not supposed to throw those away. I was like, "Oh well, I'm glad you told me. I'm glad I saved them for him." And that's how it turned it around on him. Okay, and so then I made a point. So he's like, "No, here, we'll take that." And I forgot how we did the exchange, but anyways, that's just to show you how this kind of goes right here. But my whole point is to say that MAGA knows the only person that's a threat in LA to them is me, because I know why they are MAGA. You only see them as MAGA. I know the little boy inside of them, what happened to him to turn them into MAGA. And the catch is, where you people can just talk shit about it at most, yeah, well, who abused you? And that, to them, they're like, yeah, nobody, because they repress it. I'm different. I make them relive the abuse. And so they hate me. When they see me, they see what made them MAGA automatically. And LAPD, which murders non-MAGA cops, like a woman who was raped by a Hollywood producer 2 days before she was supposed to testify, she was killed on duty. A guy, Tippins Houston, he found out that one of his partner raped multiple women. He filed a complaint. They took him off duty. They put him in the academy. And before the investigation was over, with Beck was the chief of police, they literally did this. LAPD did this. During a training exercise, they had him and the guy that he reported on do an exercise. The guy that he reported on broke his fucking neck during the training exercise in front of the fucking class, and they deemed it a non-murder event. Okay? So, like I said, LAPD, Burbank PD, and Glendale. I thought it was Glendale, so it was going to be fun because they hate me the most. They hate me the fucking most. But, those were LAPD, but they were all cops. And the funny thing, they all look anyways because that's their natural instinct. But when they look at me, I love it because they always know who I am, where I am, and what I want. They don't know that with you. That's why they're able to walk into your world unannounced and fucking shock you. I'm the opposite. When they see me,